Hello, Jenny Bowling here with Pivot to Prosperity, brought to you by Pivotal Real Estate Investments, where we help our investors build wealth and income through commercial real estate that improves communities. And today we have Amanda Larson with us. Hi, Amanda. Thank you for coming.
Hello, Jenny. Thank you for having me. It's such a joy and a pleasure to be on your show. I've been listening to a few of your episodes recently, and you're doing a great job and have some great guests. So
Thank you. Well, I love to have people, my peers, like you're a peer. We know each other through a mastermind, and we are both in the multifamily space. And so it's great to be able to share our experiences. So I'm going to read your bio, and then you can add whatever occurs to you as something worth adding.
Absolutely.
Amanda is the founder of AMAX Equity. Do you pronounce that AMAX? Or do you say AMAX?
AMA. So as a side note, people call me Alma, like just the first three letters of my name. So Alma and then X Equity. So.
I should have asked you that before we get on. AMAX Equity. Okay. A real estate private equity company with a mission to empower busy professionals by helping them build multiple streams of income by investing in apartments. With more than 15 years of experience in engineering and construction, Amanda brings a solid foundation in project management, engineering, and an MBA in finance in her real estate investments. With a significant portion of her career spent working abroad for multinational engineering and construction companies, she's honed her skills in leading projects and teams towards a common goal. Very good. Now, tell us more.
Yeah, so I guess, that gives a basic background. Engineering and construction, that it didn't shine really light onto my entrance into real estate, but I guess I would add that I grew up in a family that always owned real estate, single family, and a little bit of farmland and things like that. And so it was really ingrained into me early on that real estate is a good asset class, a smart asset class, a cash flowing asset class. And it just made sense to my family, and I never really thought much about it. So I started investing in 2010. I was actually living overseas, and I bought my first rental property in the US, and I still own that. And that's how I got started. And it's just been, I wouldn't say a family business, but I'm fortunate to have been introduced at a very young age, the opportunities that it can allow.
I think that's really huge. There's so many people that are tied up in other things in life. My parents used to buy and sell houses. They'd give us all a paintbrush and say, go paint, kids.
Yep, it was all do it yourself. Everything do it yourself.
Yeah, child labor. But yeah, so we saw them making money, and so but we're blessed for that.
Yeah.
But so what made you choose construction for your degree?
Well, my degree is in electrical engineering. And after finishing with my undergrad, I moved to Australia, and I had done a couple of semesters of school over there. So I knew a little bit about the job market, but it was a matter of I moved there. I didn't have a job lined up. It was super scary. So I went over there, and it was just the first job that I got. I needed sponsorship, and so they were willing to hire me. And so I jumped on board, and it was an experience ever since. I remember, my first job was on a coal terminal, and being a girl from Nebraska, I never thought I would, you're there working in this heavy industrial construction job, thinking I got my engineering degree. This is not where I expected to land at all.
And we were talking before recording that you've done some very interesting projects, actually, because and then transmission and light rail and energy, oil and gas, and
so
all infrastructure stuff too.
All infrastructure and like heavy industrial, so nothing pretty to look at, and a lot of things that are built in the middle of nowhere. So I've spent a lot of time in the remote outback.
So when you travel, do you go to cities or do you go to the outback kind of?
I'm primarily a city girl. I love visiting cities, and then when I go to more remote places and do some hikes and some outdoor adventure stuff, but I am at heart a city girl. So
Gotcha. And you said you're a runner, so would you rather run in the city or in the country?
in the city, actually, yeah. I live kind of in the middle of Houston right now, and I like running through Houston, and there's a lot to look at, and I'd rather look at people and things and events and activities than trees. I don't know.
We all need a little of both, though. We know that, right?
That's right. That's right. It's all
Yeah.
about getting outside and being active. So
So what got you into going for multifamily investments?
yeah, so I it was around 2015, and I decided that I wanted to get more involved in real estate. Like I had, owned a couple of rentals, but not really diving in. And I joined one of the mentorship programs and started going to meetups. And I was dabbling in a lot of different areas of real estate. I was thinking about fix and flips and lease to owns and rentals and retail. And it was really, I stumbled on this meetup and they were talking about syndications, and I didn't know there was such a thing. And so when I heard this presentation on you can own 100 units instead of one unit, or 101 units, you could own all 100 at once and you could pool money together. And better yet, you could do it without doing anything. You could just invest in somebody else's deal. It was like a light bulb turned on, and I just said, why is no one talking about this? And maybe it was because I hadn't been looking for it, but that was really just a turning point. I pretty much decided that at that moment, like, I'm not going to buy any more single families because I don't necessarily enjoy being a landlord. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of looking after tenants, making sure your units are always occupied, getting the call to fix something. It's not what I love doing. Some people do. Some people, that's their wheelhouse, but I would rather own a business. And that's what owning multifamily is all about. It's owning and operating a business.
So now you are the boss over the people doing that, it sounds like too. You're in asset management, right?
Yeah, I do the asset management and acquisitions. I think when you get into syndications, most people do a little bit of everything. You kind of become this person of all trades, but you find where your strengths are, and that's, with a project management background and engineering, I really enjoy the acquisition side, the analysis, and the project management.
Got it. Well, that sounds interesting. And so you have a couple investments now, or
I do, yeah. So,
yes.
I have 260 units in Houston and 150 units in San Antonio. Of course, those are with teams of people. So I partner with other GPs or general partners. And yeah, we acquire these assets, and that's what we're working on. And we're also in acquisition mode. So looking at assets right now in Dallas Fort Worth and in Houston. So
Yeah,
a
we
fun
were talking about that. There's a lot of deals we look at, isn't there, before we can find one to even think about making an offer on, right?
It's amazing, Jenny. And I think I've worked on a couple things with you, just, just analyzing deals. And I think you also recognize the amount of work that goes into it. It's not like buying a house where you put an offer in and you might have a few offers that you're competing against. It's, turning over hundreds of opportunities and looking at them and then reviewing and analyzing and then maybe offering on 5 and maybe winning one. It's a process, and it's not something a lot of people, unless you're in the business, you don't realize how much goes into it. And it's all just sweat equity until you get that one diamond in the rough that you think is a good deal and that you can win.
Right. Yeah. And
Yeah.
then these days there's still a lot of competition even, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Because the good
yeah.
deals get a lot. I mean, the good deals get a lot of attention. So, I think there was a time when offers weren't being put in, but if you're in a strong market, they're getting a lot of offers and you need to stand out amongst those offers.
So are there any tricks you want to share about what you all do to try to win offers, or is there anything about the way you approach them that you would like to share?
Yeah, definitely. I think part of it depends on I'm going to say part of it depends on the market cycle. So what worked 2 years ago doesn't work now. A couple years ago, I would say that price was the driving factor. Highest offer oftentimes won. Now it is certainty of close. So they want to know that you are a known entity. And so it's about partnering with the right people, because there's a lot of deals right now that, people are putting offers in and then ultimately they don't end up closing. So from a seller's perspective, they want to know that you're going to close. And usually that comes down to raising the equity. So finding strong partners that have a strong resume, is really meaningful right now and can take you a long way.
Right.
It's
Absolutely.
all about relationships. No matter what, it all comes down to relationships and
That's
having
why we go to so many events, right?
Yeah, that's right. It's, meeting people and finding people that you work well with integrity, and that, it's a business where when you partner, you not only have to think about getting the deal or getting to the next step, it's also taking care of those investors over the next 3, 5, 7 years, because that's when it matters who you're partnering with.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You're in business together, all of you. So
Mhm.
you need to really be sure you want to be there. And
Mhm.
that's a huge part of the decisions. So, and we talked before coming on the air too about educating people on just this, right?
Yeah,
It's
the
it's
process.
amazing how many people in real estate don't even realize they can be an owner too.
Oh yeah, yeah, you brought up a very good point. Just walking, I think you brought up a point with, in a hotel, and I don't think about when I go into a hotel, owning the hotel, but it's absolutely an opportunity, it's, just like apartments, people don't realize that it's private owners that own these apartments most of the time, and hotels are the same way. But you shone light on that for me earlier, and there's opportunities out there. It's just a matter of
Right.
curiosity and becoming interested and asking the right questions.
Yeah, the story that I shared with her before starting to record was I was renting a car out of a hotel locally, and I walked in and it was nice Mediterranean feel,
Yeah,
plants everywhere. I looked around and said, I want to own something like this. And I absolutely will keep that in mind. And I talk to people all the time that buy and sell hotels, and um,
yeah,
always looking for an operator that I would pair with. So it may
yeah.
happen someday.
Well, you put it out there and you start talking and asking people. I think once you uncover this world of you can own a lot of, the world of syndication, it opens up a whole new perspective on life. Is that, you just, for a long time, a lot of people assume that they just can't, they don't have the money on their own. And for most things, is out of reach for most people. But once you start collaborating and putting things together, a lot becomes possible. And that's when doors open up.
Right. And there's ways for people to ease into it, of course, which is important, right? Do you have many sophisticated investors you're working with?
Sophisticated as in just learning, or
No, to qualify for the 506Bs that would be
506,
able.
yeah, 506B. I think all investors, even if you're accredited, I think it's important. There's no formal qualification for 506B. It is having the knowledge and the wherewithal to know what you're investing in. So it's asking some questions. Do you understand what the risks are? Do you understand, what's your experience in real estate? What's your experience in investing, and getting to know that it's really, it's not a self-assessment, but it's understanding your investor and that they know what they're getting into. And I think no matter what, even if they're accredited, it's your investor needs to know what they're investing, what
They
they're investing.
do, yeah, and that's so
Have
true.
that
So
understanding.
many accredited investors think that, okay, if I'm qualified, then maybe I should do it, and they don't understand all the all the
Yeah,
pieces and parts.
yeah. And I think, for me, it helps. It's in the long run, as a sponsor, if your investors, the more educated they are, and I'm not saying they need to know everything,
Right.
but if they understand what they're getting into, it's just a better relationship long term. Because deals will go well, but even there'll always be hiccups in every single deal. Not everything will go exactly as planned, and that it will just be easier in the relationship if people understand that, people that own real estate, do investments, and are experienced investors understand that things go well, but even when things go well, there are hiccups or turns, or nothing is perfect. And ever, setting expectations and understanding the business is really important.
Yeah, and we've just gone through one of the biggest changes in the market in 40 years, right? Because interest rates are higher than they've been in 40 years, and
Mhm.
nobody guessed they'd go up so high so fast. That's never happened. So,
Yeah.
yeah, there's a
People,
shakeout.
yeah. And so the investors that understand the risks are, weathering that storm a lot, I think,
Right.
better than others. But it comes down to, even when you buy single families, if you don't understand, if you watch HGTV and you think that everything is,
Right.
works out perfectly and it's done in 48 hours or whatever, that's not how real estate works. And that's,
Yeah.
a blessing. It's almost, you can use it as an opportunity, because a lot of people don't like taking on the effort. It's effort, and it's taking on some unknowns.
Well, and I think that part of what maybe should be thought about is the fact that you've got this business plan, right? That says this is what we plan to do, what we
Yeah.
are projecting and expecting based on these assumptions and all. But it's important the investors realize that things might happen. I mean, look at 9/11, there's all kinds of things, or COVID, that where you have to change up that plan. So
Yeah.
they need to be ready, willing, and able to flex as flex is needed. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And it's up to the sponsor to have a realistic business plan, and to understand what is realistic in the market and what's possible. But
yeah,
when it comes down to working with markets and politics and everything that can happen, things can go unplanned, or just people, you're working
yeah.
with hundreds of people in your in your apartment. But so it's up to the sponsor to be realistic and clearly communicate that this is a plan, and here's our plan B, and here's our plan C, and we're going to do the best we can, and we're going to be stewards of your capital, because that's the most important thing, is taking care of your investors. And I think once that's understood and there's an agreement, it makes life a lot easier.
Oh yeah, for sure. All right. So we are at that pivotal point where I need to ask you if there is a pivotal person or event that brought you either to where you are today or that's pushing you towards something now.
Yeah, definitely. So I briefly mentioned it, but it was, I look back, and the turning point was showing up at that one meetup. And not only did that shed light on the possibility of syndications and owning multifamily real estate, but it also, the host of that meetup I'm good friends with now. I've partnered with them. They are, I've leaned on them for advice and I'm going to say mentorship, not a formal mentorship, but definitely, guiding me on my path. And so that was definitely a pivotal moment, without a doubt. So, and I have the joy of, we partnered together on a deal in Houston. So it's been quite an experience. And so I have a lot to be grateful for.
So as you know, if you want to nominate them as a pivotal person, you can do that.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll give a shout out. So it's Ben Suttles and Ferris Musa with Disrupt Equity.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, great. Well, so you want us to contact them to see if they want to be on the show and be honored as a pivotal person?
Yeah, you can, or you can definitely reach out to them. I can help you with that. And
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. We well, actually, You
Let's
should be the
collaborate.
one,
Let's
you
collaborate. Yeah.
you
So-
should be the one to call them and say, well, you don't have to be. We can call and say you've been nominated, but if you want to, you can call and
Yeah.
say, I nominated you. I want you to go on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Okay. Well, great, great. So tell people how they can get in touch with you.
Yeah, so the best way, there's a couple ways. So connect with me on LinkedIn. It's Amanda Larson. You can find me. Otherwise, my website is it's at almaxequity.com, and my email is amanda@almaxequity.com. So it's AMAXequity.com. And so I love to hear from people. Reach out, say hello, ask questions. I've got some free downloads on my website. So yeah, check me out.
Great. All right. We'll put that in the show notes. You'll get the notes beforehand and we'll make sure everything looks hunky-dory. Okay.
Okay, perfect.
Great.
Thank
Well,
you so
thank
much.
you. Appreciate it. It's been fun.
Thank you so much. It's been a joy.